there, Internet. It is Mustache Mondays. And before we even get started, check this out. Look at this. My wife got this for me. Any resemblance? Am I doing this right? Anyhow, hey, how you doing, everybody? This week we are going to talk about, are you ready? Hang tight. We're going to talk about poop. Yep, that's what I said. We're going to talk about poop. More importantly and more specifically, we're going to talk about pigeon poop. Uh, I just had a client. Lately we've got a lot of rain here in believe it or not, a lot of rain in Arizona, and it happens, I guess. But just had a client just recently that's staying upstairs, staying in the ceiling. Water coming in. First thing you think is the air handler. That's usually what it is. It's usually the air conditioner. It's usually the air handler. Your drip pan gets filled with water. Water overflows. I'll explain that in a whole other video because it's important to know to watch the drip line outside. Because usually what happens is you don't realize you got a problem until water starts coming through the ceiling. So anyway, sure enough, staying upstairs in the ceiling. First thing we think, AC. Call the AC guy. AC guy goes up there, gets in the attic, calls me, and tells me, hey, it ain't the AC. AC's at the other end of the house. We got bigger issues here. We got a roof problem. So call the roof guy, right? Roof guy goes out there today, calls me up, sends me a bunch of photographs, which I'm going to try to include at the end of this. I'm going to do my very, very, very best to include because you got to see these pictures. But the roof guy calls me up, sends me all these photographs of the roof. Now, we all know how a roof works, right? You get the valleys, up on your roof. So you got the valleys. They're like so. So the water runs down, gets down into the valley. What you don't see is underneath the tiles. We have these tile roofs here in Arizona. What you can't see because the tiles meet up with each other is that underneath them where they meet up in that valley, there's a metal tray. There's a metal drip tray that runs all the way down the valley to the end of the roof. So the water comes down, goes down inside the tray, runs down off the edge of the roof. That's the way it's designed to work. Works perfect. Unless, of course, you got pigeons up on your roof. Especially if you got solar panels on your roof. I guarantee you got pigeons on your roof. Okay? Now, my client's home, solar panels. But he's good. He had the pigeon proofing go up there, where they put them. We all seen it here in Arizona. They put the screens all around the edge of the solar panel so the pigeons can't get under it and all that kind of good stuff. And in the corners and of the home upstairs, the lofts and everything else, the eaves, the whole schmeal, right? Problem is this: you get your roof, right? You got your roof. Yeah, let me see if I can do this. You got your roof. You got your solar panel sitting on top of the roof, right? So like so. So then they put the screen up here on the top edge of the solar panel so the pigeons can't get underneath the solar panel. Well, as you notice, this is all pointed downwards, right? So even though the screen is here, the screen makes for a really perfect place for the pigeons to sit and nest. They can't get under the panel, okay? Yahoo! Big deal. They all nest on top of the screen, and then they sit there. As time goes by and they make their duty and all their mess and everything goes through the screen and rain comes, washes all the poopy down, and all the poopy goes down into the valley, goes down into the channel, okay? And eventually that channel completely plugs up, okay? And that's what you'll see in these pictures. What a flippin' mess. So the entire channel gets filled up with pigeon poop. It dries up solid as a rock, okay? Fills it completely. Next time the rain comes, all the water runs down the valleys, hits the channel, can't go down the channel, channel's filled with pigeon poop. Backs up out of the channel, underneath the tiles, across the roof, makes its way through the underlayment, wherever there's a spot it can make its way through. Next thing you know, not only do you got water coming through the ceiling, you got pigeon poop water coming through the ceiling. If that's to make things even worse. So now you got a real problem, right? Luckily, I got a great guy. I tell you what, this is the first time I've ever been faced with this situation. And when he called me up, and first he sent me 11 pictures on my phone, and I'm going to try to include them. But he sent me these 11 photos, and I'm looking through these pictures, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, what a flippin' freaking disaster this is. And then he calls me up while I'm looking at the pictures, and he's like, "You looking at the photos?" I say, "Yeah, I'm looking at the photos." And he says, "You see the problem?" I say, "Yeah, I see the problem." And he's like, "Yeah," and he starts explaining the whole thing to me, like I just explained to you. And he says, and I'm waiting for the, how do you fix all this, right? And he says, well, here's what I got to do. He says, I got to take all the tiles off around the valleys. I got to back up and take all the roof tiles off. He says, and I got to take the channel out. And he says, I got to take the underlayment off, back all that up, clean all the mess out, and reinstall everything. Take all them screens off, clean all that mess out, put the screens back on because they were put there. They were my client paid to have them there, so they go back on. So the screens go back on, and man, he's talking, and all I'm thinking is, I'm watching dollar signs go. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh dear God, this is good. And this is a big 2-story home, so I mean it's 110 degrees outside, and this poor guy's going to be up here way up in the. I'm thinking, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I am not going to tell you the price he quoted me, but I'm going to tell you this: if you want access to a good roofing guy, call me because I about fell out of this chair when he told me how much he was going to charge. I thought to myself, dude, how do you even feed yourself? Like, this is incredible. But so there's the tip of the week, my friends, here in Arizona, from here on Mustache Mondays. Those couple of pigeons you see up there, it's bad news. And I'll tell you something else I learned. I learned from an exterminator friend of mine here in Maricopa, Arizona. We've all heard of homing pigeons. They're all homing pigeons. Okay, so you think, oh, homing pigeons, big deal, right? Ooh, that's a cute name, homing pigeons. Listen, this is how it works. He explained this to me. This is how it works. The pigeons, when they make the poopy up there on your roof, every pigeon has a chemical, some sort of chemical, probably like we have DNA. They have something chemical that comes out, right? And it identifies them and them alone. It's like a fingerprint, right? And it doesn't just wash off. You could go up there with, soap and water and wash all the poopy off the roof, and the roof is nice and shiny and clean and pretty and everything looks great. The chemical is still there. That's what they home in on, homing pigeons. That's how they know where to come back, okay? And not only will they keep coming back, all of their offspring keeps coming back. So when they go up there and they lay eggs and there's little tiny baby pigeons, the little baby pigeons are going to come back, and their little baby pigeons are going to come back, and they're all going to freaking keep coming back, and they're going to keep coming back to that exact same spot, okay? Nature's way, I guess. So not only you got to get somebody up there, you got to get a guy who specializes in pigeon removal, because he actually goes up there and doesn't just put screens or doesn't just put wires or any of that kind of deterrent. You got to get up there and you got to get the chemical that the pigeons excrete. It's got to come off, and they have a whole way they do that where it's got to all be cleaned off, etc., etc. Long story short, right? Pigeons, bad, very bad. Okay, they gots to go. All right. If you're looking up on your roof and you're seeing, you're thinking to yourself, wow, I got a lot of pigeons up there and they've been up there for a few years, and it's listen. You got to get a roofer up there. You got problems that you can't see, because all of that is washing down into an area you can't see. It's down in that channel, and that channel is all plugged up. And with all the rain we've been having lately in Arizona, thankfully we're not like where I'm from in Michigan, where it rains every other day. Then you'd know right away you got a problem, because you'd have a leak constantly. Here in Arizona, everything's great. Pigeons are on the roof. Yeah, and finally, 9 months, 10, 11 months goes by and it rains. The first time it's rained in 10 months, and you got a leak. It's because of the pigeon poop. So I had no idea what I was going to talk about today, and then all of a sudden it hit me out of the blue. Boop. So here we are. So hey, folks, that's the tip of the week. Next week, you know what? Next week, let's talk AC, because that's while we're on the subject of roof leaks, let's talk about something else I'm a little familiar with and have come across. Until then, everybody, like and share. It always helps me. And stay safe. And I'll see you next week.